Hello Physical Fiends, it's Jordan here with another worth a purchase where I play a game for a short amount of time to see if I would buy it myself. Today I'm taking a look at the Castlevania Dominus Collection, which unless you were living under a rock, or perhaps just getting on with your daily life as though you have responsibilities like earning money and feeding your family, you should be aware that Castlevania Dominus Collection shadow dropped on all major consoles digitally yesterday. And my god, is it absolutely glorious. And there is a physical release happening via, yeah you guessed it, limited run games. There is no justice in the world. I'll talk about the physical in more detail later, after I tell you why it deserves a physical release. For the record, this code was provided to me by Konami, so thanks for that. So, the Dominus Collection is a compilation of 3 Nintendo DS Castlevania games plus a bonus game and a half, more on that soon. This contains Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, which is a direct sequel to Aria of Sorrow, which was on the GBA, and also in the previous compilation. There's Castlevania Portrait of Ruin and Order of Ecclesia. These are 3 of some of the most critically acclaimed games in the series. If you love Symphony of the Night, well these are just evolutions of that game with the same Metroidvania style exploration and RPG elements. Are they as good? That's debatable amongst fans, but even the most diehard of Symphony of the Night simp would say they definitely give it a good shot. They are absolutely impeccable games and would have been essential to own if you had a Nintendo DS. These are like the premier third-party titles on the system, and it was the home of the series pretty much. By this point, Konami treated the portable releases as the main event. These 3 games are quite similar in terms of flow and style. You'll be exploring various poorly designed structures, and I mean that from a real life perspective. Ain't no architect designing anything like this in real life. It'd be a nightmare finding the bathroom. Gameplay wise, it's great design for video games. There are lots of nightmarish creatures to take down, and your characters have a bunch of different weapons, sub-weapons, and awesome abilities to help out. The amount of effort put into the variety is what sets these games apart from the pretenders out there. The RPG elements are well thought out, and each game has their own gimmicks that set them apart from each other, yet they don't feel overly gimmicky. Each one fits the game really well, and I personally enjoyed the character switching of Portrait of Ruin, either having your ally alongside you or appear when you need them and helping out with puzzles. They are all exceptional games though. Now these are DS games, which obviously comes with some issues, or at least questions about how to port such a unique console to a more standard one. Well, now the dual screens are spread out like you'd see on any DS emulator, and you can customize their size and placement if you want, but I found the default setting to be perfect. And it's even extra better than the original DS because now it seems they give you 3 screens. They're like, hey, we've got some extra space here, let's go to town. So it's fantastic in my opinion, even better than the original. Secondly, the touchscreen. Thankfully the touchscreen in these games, it's used sparingly, but still essential to completing most of the games from what I can remember. I haven't played them all to completion in this like 12 hours since release, okay? So they had to get it right, and they did. You can move the cursor with the right analog stick, which imitates a stylus, and then you hold the right trigger button to act like you're pressing. So you can sign your name, or try and draw cock and balls, whatever takes your fancy. I'm playing the PS5 version, which even better, you can use that little touchpad on the controller to scroll around. I haven't played the Switch version as of yet, but I would assume you can use the touchscreen on that. And Xbox gamers, well, I heard you can lick your TV, something like that. There's a rewind feature, save states, music player, art collection, filters. This package has everything. It's ported by M2. Of course, they leave no stone unturned. But that's not all, because there are also 2 bonus games that are hidden out of sight like some sort of Quasimodo, that they don't really want to spoil the vibe of the Dominus trilogy, but threw it out there as a nice cherry on top. Because while they may not be the main event, they are very welcome for me. Firstly and least excitingly, there's Haunted Castle, which is the arcade Castlevania game that confused many gamers around the world, one of the worst Castlevania games ever made. It's a game that truly takes the piss. I heard it even knocks on your door and runs away, the little prick, but it's nice to have it for curiosity's sake, even though it was already part of another Konami collection called the Arcade Classics Collection, so it's kind of a new bonus thing, but we've already had it before. Still, nice to fill out the package. However, stop the press, ladies and gentlemen, because Konami, in the most nonchalantly casual way, also included a complete reimagining of that arcade game called Haunted Castle Revisited. It's a complete remake and makes the game actually good. It's so much of a remake that I would consider it to be a new game. Konami released the first brand new Castlevania game since Lord of the Shadows 2 in 2014 and quietly included it as a bonus game with barely even a mention. It's really good. Okay, it's probably not the best linear Castlevania game, there's a debate about which one is, but still, it's a fantastic time. Way better than the original with actual balanced gameplay, believe that. This game is genuinely my favorite part of the package. Yeah, it's not the best game in the package, but it's the most interesting to me. As a linear arcade platformer, it's great. It's a new Castlevania game. What's going on? Why is no one talking about this? Overall, the package is extremely good. It was shadow dropped 24 hours ago, which was deemed enough time to get all the impulsive buyers out of the way before Limited Run Games announced they will be opening pre-orders on September 13th. Why wait so long? It was always going to be Limited Run Games. Limited Run Games did the Anniversary Collection and the Advanced Collection, and both were extremely popular, selling about as much that would actually justify a retail release, but why would they do that when Limited Run is more profitable for them? It will sell extremely well. Because let's face it, these are the best games they've released so far in terms of depth and quality. We just have to be grateful that these 3 games, or 5 games technically, are in one package and not sold separately, which I think they could have easily done. However, they are doing their old method of going for the triple dipping dinglebats, having 3 cover versions for each console, representing each of the main games in the Dominus Collection. For Switch, Xbox and PlayStation 5. Sadly, they are disrespecting Haunted Castle Revisited. That's the low-key gangster here. I'd buy that one. And no doubt they will have big collector's editions revealed in the near future. Maybe that's why they didn't open pre-orders yet. They're too busy scrambling to decide what cheap crap they can get and how much they can overprice it. If you're watching this in the future and you've somehow missed Limited Run's pre-order window, which sucks by the way, one of the major reasons I dislike the 4 weeks or game over attitude, you can probably check out Video Games Plus as an alternative because they've received leftover stock of the previous releases, which to this day you can still pick up the Anniversary Collection on Switch and even all the cover variants of the Advanced Collection on Switch, PS4 and Xbox. Check the links down below in the description if you want any of those, they still have them available. Or check if Video Games Plus have copies of the Dominus Collection in the year, 2034, we'll see. Whenever you're watching this, I don't know. Purchasing there really helps me out and I greatly appreciate your support. Would I buy this myself? Of course I would. It's the best collection of some of the best games of its generation. They've been ported very well and offer a hell of a lot of content for a very reasonable price. The extras are super nice, but the games are just as awesome and welcome today as they were in the mid-2000s. They are better than most indie Metroidvanias that release these days, and I highly recommend picking this up, even digitally, if you can't be asked to wait for the physical release. What's your favorite Castlevania game, and which game in this collection is the best? Please let me know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed as of yet, please do so. Keep up to date with all the physical goodness you could ever need. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.